The second thing, one of the big kind of profitable lessons for me this past year was about the ununited states. All right. So most of the time when you are doing some type of campaign, some type of promotion, and it's for the United States, for the U.S. Okay, U.S. traffic, then most people just kind of put choose U.S. for the country, and they kind of keep it moving, and makes profit. That's nice. Doesn't make a profit. If you can't fix it, then kind of move on. But if you think about it, because what kind of like let me think of this, and this is actually like not a new thing that I've only just started doing this year. It's something that I just kind of I want to say not sorry I guess kind of rediscovered and but really got good results from implementing it this year. Okay, so if you've ever promoted anything international, okay, so international, especially to like smaller countries, um, it's kind of different like between each country. Like if you have and not even just the language. I mean, even if the language is similar, sometimes you different country, different people react to different promotions, different marketing differently. All right. So given that, however, if you look at the United States, like there are like some of the states are the size of countries, like in Europe or different places of the world. Okay, the size of countries, where have the population, that some of these countries do. Okay, so why does it make sense to treat the United States as just all one block of people, or wouldn't it make sense to kind of like divide it up a little bit? So again, this is one of those things, and this will be the first tip that I have in a theme that basically kind of breaks your data down and figure out what part of the audience is most profitable, and then just focus on that part. Okay, so so what I start doing, what I start paying a lot more attention to, is is the states, okay, and how instead of just looking at the whole country, really breaking down the data by state. Because if you think about it, okay, it's 50 states, so you advertise the United States as 50 states. Do you think you're going to be profitable in all 50 states? No, more than likely you're not. Okay, do you think that certain states are going to be way more profitable than others? Absolutely. I mean, your message is going to resonate differently with different areas because these different states they're different. I mean, this little this little this little picture here, I mean, it's a little supposed to be humorous, but it kind of illustrates the point that these different areas of the country are extremely different. I mean, look at the election. Okay, look at this election that just happened last month in the United States. Where Donald Trump won. Okay, it just goes to show you how divided the states are, like how differently the people think from state to state. Okay, the people in the middle of the country think way differently than the people on the coast. Okay, people on the East Coast think differently from people on the West Coast. People in the South think differently from people in the Midwest. Okay, it just is what it is. It's just how it is. You break down geography. All right, so how about instead of treating the United States as just one block, you know, break it down, go by states, and if your offer is I guess has the right kind of appeal, especially like a mass appeal, then you might even want to break it down further than that. You might want to go with cities. I mean, some of these cities, have like 10, 15 million people like in their metro area. You're looking at New York and LA, stuff like that. So, but for our purposes here, let's just focus on states. So break things down for states. So here's kind of some of the stuff that you can do. Here's an example. Here's a real example. From a campaign that I did that kind of illustrates this point. Okay, it's kind of small. I don't know if you can see it, but this is basically a geographic breakdown of a campaign that I was testing. This is just the kind of beginning stages of it. But now some of the stuff didn't actually. I can't remember if some of the stuff didn't register. I didn't turn on the geo tracking until a little bit into the campaign. So just disregard these top two lines. But as you can see, red is not profitable. So right there we got most of the traffic from, and you're always going to find most of your traffic is coming from these top four states: California, Texas, Florida, and New York. I mean, those are going to be your top four almost all the time in the United States. And if you look at it, only California is not profitable. Okay, and it's like the most traffic that I got from states. Texas was barely profitable. Florida was profitable. New York was not profitable. Okay, so this is basically so if you look at all this red here, like up here especially, I'm wasting money. Okay, I'm wasting like a lot of money because a lot of these states this offer just is not profitable. So if I go ahead and sort by ROI or by EPC here, so now we can see which states I am profitable, most profitable in. So at this I think for this offer, let me see, we're looking at about 20 cents per click. I think was what it was. Yeah, so 20 cents per click. All right. So if you look at these different EPCs here, then you have something like Colorado, where EPC is 62 cents. Okay, 62 cents. I said the traffic is 20 cents. So you base that's, a little over 200% ROI. All right. Again, Delaware, 200% ROI. You got all these different states up here, that are higher. So, instead of just sending it all to the whole country, well, one, we definitely want to eliminate these red states. I mean, red being unprofitable, not being like Republican. So, so you probably want to just definitely cut these out. But if you really want to maximize your profits, especially if you are marketing to a pretty wide audience, something that's a pretty broad appeal. A lot of times if you just break it down to the state level, you still have enough. You have a big enough audience. All right. So think about how much more money you would make if you just focused on. Let me see. We'll break it off at 100% ROI. So if you just focused on these five: Maryland, Minnesota, Arkansas, Delaware, and Colorado. Okay, we just focus on those. This would be like way, 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 way more profitable. Okay, and then if we needed to add more volume or whatever, that we can kind of add these states in order that they work. For the big states, in Texas was almost break even, so maybe you might want to do some more work with Texas. But for the most part, I would focus on these states that were the most profitable. And look how, I mean, so on average, I don't have the right. Let's see. This doesn't. I don't have it where I had the total, but just looking at this, I mean, it looks like overall, you know, this may have broke even at best. I'm pretty sure I lost money up front because there's a whole lot of red here. So this probably lost money, and so you can probably easily come up here and do 100% if you want to just focus on these top two, 200% ROI. Another thing to keep in mind is that, so let's just say that this was Facebook, or I can't actually I can't remember if this was either Facebook or GDN, one of them. But let's just say for argument's sake that this was from Facebook. So let's just say you had a U.S. campaign going and you had a couple of interests there to kind of narrow it down. All right. So one thing that you could also try that works a lot is if you have some type of what do you want to call it? I guess like some criteria. If you have some criteria that you're using to narrow your audience, you may be able to remove that. Okay, and this you can do this for a lot of different things. You can do it for geography. You can do it for like devices. You can do it for a lot of different things. So let's just say, for instance, this was some kind of weight loss offer. All right. So you may have had, when you're doing just the U.S. altogether, you may have had interests that were, I don't know, you may have had, say, interest was weight loss or fitness or something like that. So when you break it down to the states, especially if you have a state like one of these that was extremely profitable, you might want to remove that targeting or remove that keyword or remove that, whatever that form of targeting is, so that you can expand your audience within that state, but you're still getting that state, that the traffic from that state, because whatever it is, something in that state, people in that state, whatever is really resonating with your offer. So that could be a way of expanding your audience within that state. All right. So you go down like, further, but then you spread out like within that particular, piece of criteria or whatever. So, so geography is something, I mean, very important to look at. I mean, obviously international, most of the countries are smaller, so you can a lot of times just go the whole country. But for the United States, definitely, I mean, you got like pretty much 50 individual countries, okay? And so, you need to treat them that way. And if you treat them that way, then you will end up making a lot more money, as you can see here. All right. So, do you want to, you go from negative, to 200% ROI. And this is like, instantly, you just cut out, you only send traffic to these states. Um, it's like an instant fix. And another thing too, while we're at it, is this doesn't work with all ads and stuff, but one thing you could try too with promotions is, especially if you're only focusing on a few different states, like you may want to just do a campaign just for that state, and then sometimes you can even use the state name, in your ad on your landing page or whatever. Sometimes that improves conversion, sometimes it doesn't. So that's something that you want to test. But if you are really focusing on very few states, then it does, give you something else to target with and to make money with. All right, does that make sense? All right.